Welcome to New Filmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. I'm here with Bettina Lopez Mendoza to talk about her film Beyond. Let's take a look at a clip. Bettina, welcome.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Oh, great to have you here. So first of all, tell us a little bit more about the history behind your film, the Darien Gap crossing in 2023. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so the Darien Gap is a stretch of jungle between Colombia and Panama, and it's never been developed. So there's not a single street, there's not a single store, and really the only thing that ever has moved through there is narcos. And as the migration crisis, particularly from my country, Venezuela, got bad enough, people actually started crossing this land on foot. And of course, this developed a huge black market of people who are, helping people cross and selling things and services. So that's sort of the backdrop for my story.
And so what inspired you to tell it from this specific point of view? Talk about your scripting development process.
Yeah, so unfortunately it was, inspired by a lot of very scary and sad images that I was seeing coming out of that. A lot of people crossing with young kids, with elderly, and you're just hearing these horrific stories. And when I was seeing these pictures of these kids in particular, I was connecting with sort of my immigration journey, which was completely different, and it was a privileged reality. And what I kept coming back to is how could we give these kids back their innocence? And that sort of coupled with sort of trying to tell a Peter Pan tale of someone who comes and kind of scoops them away and takes them to a Neverland. And so those were the things I was working with. And in the scripting, I did hold on to a lot of those Peter Pan elements. And, you have these lost kids that guide her. And then I wanted to make sure that I was retaining the grounded reality of everything I was doing. So instead of making it such a fantasy land, it really just became a natural land. And it was how she slowly just gets rid of her fear and her sort of guard and becomes a kid again.
Yeah, it was really beautifully shot.
Thank you.
The metaphors. Talk about your production process and the DP, the camera work, the photography. It was really, really beautiful, and how you use that, to talk about this regaining of innocence.
Yeah, so my DP, Camosa, he's excellent. We talked a lot about wanting this to feel very realistic. So even though we were going to push the boundary of the sort of like documentary feel, we were going to make you, as an audience, have to imagine things you're not seeing on screen. We sort of draw you in by making you feel like you're walking along with these migrants. So we did everything handheld, and it's very much like you're one of these people. And you have like that shaky camera, and you have all those very, very tight close-ups on our protagonist, so that you really feel both her internal world and the sort of, you're lost in this vast jungle. As we get into the fantasy world, we start expanding that. So you have these beautiful wides, you have these amazing locations that are just completely, become completely enveloped in it. And the idea was, the more she reconnects with her imagination and sense of wonder, the sort of bigger scope and bigger the frame becomes. So it was, contrasting that of like feeling completely trapped by this jungle in the first half, and then like you can fly by the end.
Exactly. And the sound, talk about your choice for the sound, because the sound was very important in this too.
Yeah, definitely. So, being a short film and being my first, these were a lot of creative decisions I made so that we could cut costs and then sort of build it out in post. So, my initial drafts had a ton of little lost kids running around, and you can't, for a lot of budget purposes and logistical purposes, that was not going to be feasible. And I actually have been working a lot in podcasting, and so I thought, well, what if you could just hear them? And so I played a lot with this element of like, in this magical place, could there be these voices that are guiding her that are sort of like in the spirit of the lost children without actually having them physically there? And actually the voice of the mother that comes in the end, that was something that was not scripted. It was not in any of our drafts. But when I took my first assembly to my editor, the first thing she said to me was, "I love this film, I don't understand it." And I thought that was a great note. And I said, "Great, so how would you fix it?" So she said, "I think you need to actually build out the backstory a little bit more and spread that throughout the film." In the script, it had been so minuscule. It was quick flashes of water, and you didn't really understand maybe what was the importance of that. And so I have to thank my editor, Monica Salazar. She's also incredible, and she built that out. She would actually just record herself and drop it in as temp. And the great story of that is that when I was temping it, I asked my mom, like, "Mom, can you just record this so I can like put it in and just eventually I'll re-record it?" And actually, she did such a beautiful job that I took my mom to the studio and tried re-recording her. And actually, I couldn't direct her enough or whatever. We couldn't get it to the level that she had done the temp in her closet at home. So we actually, the final voice is my mom's in a closet recording on her cell phone by herself.
I love it. I actually have done that too. I love it. It works. It totally works. The magic of the iPhone these days, it so works. Yeah. So where did you shoot the film, and how long did it take you to shoot?
Yeah, so we shot in Colombia in a little town called San Juan de Urabá. You would have a very hard time finding it on a map, but it's on the Caribbean coast of Colombia. And we partnered with a production company in Medellin called Querida Productora. And Ana Cata, our producer there, she grew up in this town, so there was no other way we would have known about it. So the closest airport we flew in, it's like a 2 or 3 hour car ride through dirt roads. And it was a really beautiful experience because it's a place that's so virgin and untouched. And led by our co-producer Ana Cata, we made a point to just become one with the community. So we pulled in a lot of locals to be like production assistants. We made sure that they knew who we were before we arrived, so it wasn't like, who are these people just like showing up. And so it was really beautiful, people where we had base camp and where we had catering, it was people's homes that they would just open up to us.
How beautiful.
Yeah, so it was a very special experience.
Great spirit, community spirit. And how long were you there? How many days did you shoot?
The shoot was 4 days. I think we were only there about a week. Our location manager and production manager were on the ground for a good month before that. There's a lot of a lot of bureaucracy around. We had to close a street. When she's playing under the bridge, that's an active highway, 2-lane highway. So we had to close that down periodically, and so it was a lot of talking to the local authorities and the police, and we also had firefighters that were with us. They were the MVPs. They came to every location ahead of time, made sure there was nothing that could hurt us, because we are in pure nature. They also did all the water scenes with us, so there's amazing pictures of my DP with the camera inside the water and about 4 men trying to hold him steady.
Yeah, because you're on the river, right? You're in the river.
Yeah, and in the ocean and the swimming sequences, the waves there were really strong. So also huge props to our actress Dair. She was pretty nervous to swim. So she's not a very skilled swimmer. And we put her in every body of water imaginable.
Right, the river, the ocean.
Yeah, and there's the lagoon where she has to stay under until we yell action. So she was just fearless.
Fantastic. She was wonderful.
Yeah.
She really, really was wonderful. Yeah. So tell me how did this film change you as a filmmaker and a person, having read about this event and experience? How did going through it as a filmmaker so closely, especially like you said, spending time down there and being a part of the community, how did that influence you as a person and a filmmaker?
Yeah, I mean, I think before this, a lot of my experience had been on very big sets, both commercial and like a studio film that I was assisting on. And I think this experience, which was also a big bet on myself, where it was the first thing I was going to direct, and I didn't know if I'd like it. I was like, I might come out of this and say I'll never direct again. But I think what was very magical, particularly about where we were, the story we were telling, how people would connect to it, because you send your script. One of my directing tools is I put together a mood reel, and it just has the essence of the film. It has, all the references I'm using. It tells you the story. The music already tells you the tone of it. And, you send it out to your dream DP and he responds. And you send it out to your dream editor and they respond. So that stuff is kind of slowly telling you, okay, you're on the right track, right? And then to have that very special experience in the community in San Juan, even them coming to you and telling you how that story is touching them, it's sort of seeing the magic come alive of how a story can slowly spread and the domino effect of what you're creating. So yeah, I think that's been the most special.
Great. And what could you share a lesson with newer filmmakers coming up? What advice would you give younger filmmakers or newer filmmakers?
Yeah, I mean, two things. The first thing is, if you feel you have a story to tell, find a way to do it. I think I was a person who waited way too long to finally tell my story. I thought there was a path that you had to follow and you had to wait for someone to finally say, it's your turn, come up and do it, Right. And for a long time, I was waiting for that moment or that person, only to realize that person is me. You have to say, I give you permission now, go do this.
Louder for people in the back.
Yeah,
right. It's very important.
So, so it's really just about deciding, and you'll see that once you make that decision, and you make that decision makes it a reality. Right. So then it becomes real for everyone else. And again, as you're searching for your crew and your producers and the money, the more you say it's real and it's happening and these are the shoot dates and we're going whether we have 10,000 or 30, it becomes real and more people vouch for it and more people come on board, and then it's unstoppable. Okay. So that would be the big one. And then the second one would be, in terms of the stories you want to tell, go for the ones that are scary. So, this is a big undertaking in terms of not just the scope, but it's something that is happening and it's a reality, and it's not necessarily a reality that I'm part of, but it does affect me and I feel for it. And it's an important story to tell. So yeah, I would say go for the ones that scare you, that challenge you, that make you vulnerable when you think about them. Yeah.
Great advice. Beautiful. Well said. Well said. So thank you for being here with us.
Thank you so much.
Really appreciate talking to you. And where can we follow you on?
So we're on Instagram at Masaya Film, or you can find me at _Bettina LPZ.
All right. Yeah. Thanks, Bettina.
Thank you so much.